friends, my name is Chloe. Welcome to Beans and Skeins, which is my making channel all about knitting and yarn and sometimes sewing if we are feeling a little bit adventurous. Today we are joined by an absolutely enormous pile of knitwear that's sitting in front of me. It is every sweater that I have made myself, or sweater or cardigan, so every kind of like warm weather garment, if you will. I thought it would be fun to go through it and talk about, like, do kind of like a sweater audit. Like, what am I wearing the most? What don't I like? Because I find myself in a bit of a knitting rut, which I know happens to everybody, but I love knitting. And I think partially what is causing this a little bit is I am going through a little bit of like change regarding like my style. And I've gone down a whole YouTube rabbit hole, which I will not get into, but I feel like there's some things that when I wear them, I feel really good. And then there's some things when I wear it that I don't feel really good. And I know that I have some not so great feeling garments in here. And so my hope by going through all of them is kind of like trying them all on so everyone, including me, can see it. And then I kind of want to make some piles as I go. So like a pile of I love this, a pile of I like this, and then a pile of like I don't really like this. And then potentially I'll be able to see in the I love this pile, are there any common themes regarding color or sleeve length or ease or neckline? So that way I can kind of like, as I move forward in my making, try to hi Rosie, try to make more garments that would fit into the I love this category. And also I have 16 sweaters and cardigans, like 16 combined sweaters and cardigans, which feels like a lot, and it takes up a lot of room in my wardrobe. And it's more than I can reasonably wear. And so I'm hoping that by identifying which ones I don't like or which ones I am not wearing, I could potentially like gift them or sell them or donate them. My city has like a very large homeless population, so I'm sure that there's shelters that would maybe be interested in some warm weather garments. Maybe not now because it's the start of July, but you know, into the winter. And yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. And I'm just gonna go through every sweater and kind of like comment on the things that I do or don't like about it. Because of course with everything, there's always, like, you can get so perfectionist about your knitting that there's always gonna be something that you're like, oh, I wish I did this differently. So without further ado, let's get going. So sweater number one is this. It is the Brume sweater by Andrea Mowry. I made this earlier this year. I think I finished it potentially like February or something. So it's a reasonably new addition to my wardrobe. And it's a high neck, so I don't have a lot of high neck or really any high neck garments, but I like that it's still open, right? So it's a bit of a mock neck situation rather than a turtleneck, and that is definitely my preference. I've got shorter sleeves on here, so that's a modification from the pattern. I do have yarn. Originally, I knit the sleeves first because I thought that I was going to be playing a huge game of yarn chicken. So I knit the sleeves, I shortened them, and I knit the body. I am extremely happy with the length of the body. Like this, I think for me is an ideal length. So the waist of my pants is up here. I sewed these pants also, but that's not the point. So high-waisted pants, my hip bones are here, and this comes right a couple inches, that's like 4 inches potentially past my hip bones. So I really like this length. So that's the one thing that I'm going to keep in mind for future making, is that especially recently, I've cropped more things because that's like, oh, like I wear high-waisted pants, I'll just crop my sweaters, and like it looks fine, it doesn't look bad, but I just really love the longer look. Rosie's coming to say hi. So I had thought about going back and adding more yarn because like I knit the sleeves, then knit the body, and I did have a bunch of extra, and I just haven't done that, partially because The higher neckline is double folded. This is also a DK weight Surrey alpaca from Farmer's Daughter Fibers. It's their Odang DK base. It's incredibly soft, also incredibly expensive, but it is very warm because it's an alpaca. So I kind of think that potentially the shorter sleeves just makes it a little bit more wearable, because if I had long sleeves plus like the full length sweater plus the high neckline in an alpaca yarn, I might actually be overheating and it wouldn't be as wearable. The way that it is right now, I wear it very frequently. Like, it's such a comfort knit. The one thing that irks me slightly is that because it's such a loose gauge, I think around 17 stitches per 10 centimeters, the ribbing is pretty loose. I wish what I had done was to just knit stockinette all the way down, maybe do 1 or 2 rows of ribbing just to allow that bind off to sit flat, and then just bind off that way. I'm not going to reknit it, but just if you are going to be working with this yarn potentially on your swatch, try doing some ribbing just to see if you like it, because I find at this open gauge the ribbing looks a little bit sloppy and I don't really like that. But again, like, it fits nice and loosely over the hips. I have quite a bit of positive ease in this sweater. I would say that this is probably like 20 centimeters of positive ease. So yeah, it's like very much a soft comfort cozy knit for me. I love it. I also am obsessed with this color. It's because it's like a teal, but it's not a turquoise teal. It's like a green blue dark teal, and that is I think that's like a color that I actually really love to wear, and it matches my engagement ring. So, oh, I finished this sweater just before we got engaged. So yeah, I must have finished it in February then. But then I got to wear it. I think I was wearing it when we got engaged, maybe. Or like I wore it out for dinner that night, and it was just like so, it made me feel so fancy to like have like a matching engagement ring sweater combination. It wasn't a surprise that it matched. I knew what my engagement ring was going to be. We picked it out together, but it was just nice that I had it on hand because we were out of town when we got engaged, so that was fun. I'm going to put this in the love pile. I love this one. Oh, this is such a good one. I don't know if you've seen this before on the channel. This is the first sweater that I ever made. I made this in January 2023. As you can see, it's got a little bit of a tight neckline. I did not know what I was doing. This is the Lempi sweater. It is a free pattern from Novita. Turns out it's actually designed by Sari Nordland, which I didn't realize until like last year. And when I started knitting, I would have never had any idea who that was anyway. So I wasn't like picking that one because it was designed by her, but it's designed by Sari Nordland. It is a all over stockinette bottom up sweater where you knit, it's also a raglan. So you knit the body, you knit the sleeves bottom up, you join them all in the round after casting off some for the underarms, and then you knit them up doing decreases. And then the neckline is really where I had a hard time with this because I did not do a gauge swatch. I did not know that was a thing. Thankfully, it fits very well, which is really lucky. But it also means that when I got to the top of the neckline and I was doing a bind off, I didn't really know that like YouTube was gonna have tutorials, if that makes sense. Like, I knew that it did, but I didn't realize at the time that there was different types of bind offs. So I just bound off in pattern. But then I imagine I must have also been off gauge a little. So it ended up being really, really loose and floppy, which I didn't like because it's like a slight mock neck. Like, it's not very much, but it's a very slight mock neck. And then because it was loose and floppy, it was kind of doing the thing where it was like gaping down and like flopping over. And I didn't like that. And so I actually just took a crochet hook, and even, I think you can see it on the outside. Yeah, you definitely can. I just did a row all the way around the top in the bind off stitch, like all like the top row of like, what would that be? Like chain stitch, I think. I'm not necessarily super up to date anymore on my crochet terms, but I just like did a row to stabilize the top, which makes it fit a lot better when I wear it, but it makes it a little bit hard to get over my neck, or sorry, over my head. but I knit this in Estelle Ripple, which is a super bulky, chunky gauge. It's quite an open gauge. I would say it's probably like 8 stitches per 10 centimeters or something around there, maybe 10. So the pattern does have like a 3/4 length sleeve. And for this one, I think that works out really well because it's so thick. And with the high neckline, I think if it was a longer sleeve, again, kind of like the Brume sweater, I would have a hard time wearing it. I don't wear this one a ton just because it's on the warmer side. And it does definitely have like a very handmade feel to it versus I think when you knit at finer gauges, it does look a little bit more like professional maybe, versus this, it's like, you made that. And I don't have a problem with that at all, but it just means that there's some places I don't want to wear it. And this yarn, I don't know how to describe the construction. It was either like a very, very loose spin, or it was almost like a thick unspun yarn, if that makes sense, with, I believe, maybe a nylon cord kind of giving some structure all the way through it, stability. And then I think the yarn itself is a wool blend with some kind of synthetic, but at this point, this was knit like so long ago that I can't remember what it is. But because it's kind of like that unspun feel, it looks, it's looking a little rough, and I have depilled it quite a few times, but it just like has this very kind of like shaggy, worn in vibe to it, if that makes sense. So for me, I feel like this is mostly like lounging around the house, going and doing errands, something like that, but I'm not gonna wear it if I want to feel fancy, you know? And the other thing that I love about this one is the color. I love this colorway. It is just like very kind of like autumnal and bright, and I think it first of all fits in with my wardrobe very well. I kind of love these like autumnal colors, but I just like, I like that most of the colors are not colors that I would wear individually, you know, like I don't want a whole sweater of this kind of like fire hydrant blood orange red, you know, but having little peaks of it in this sweater is perfect. It's like a perfect balance. And it's actually kind of funny because I only have a handful of variegated sweaters. I believe I have this one and one other where it was like a variegated yarn. So that's actually interesting. I have never thought about that before. I tend to not buy variegated yarn for garments. I might have to think on that. But overall, like, again, love this sweater, and I really do like this wide sleeve here. I think that's like quite a nice, it makes me feel a little bit like a hippie, especially when I'm wearing potentially like oversized, like straight-legged pants like this. I mean, these are a new addition to my wardrobe, but you know, I just feel like I could go to the farmer's market and look like I belong. Like I could be selling vegetables at the farmer's market in this, you know? So this is going to go again in the love pile. So we're off to a good start, but now my love pile has been commandeered by a cat, so it's gonna go adjacent to the love pile. Ooh, okay. This is the Pladda sweater by Rebecca Clow from the Creabea. This was my first ever test knit, and this was the first pattern that I had knit from her as a designer, and I started this August 2023, so I've only been knitting sweaters not that long, and this was a pattern that she designed for Leith magazine that came out the following March, and I think this one is really cool. I don't have anything else like it in my wardrobe, but it's one that I reach for fairly frequently, and sometimes I forget that I have it and I don't wear it for a while, and then I remember it again. I pull it out, I put it on, and I'm like, oh, this is such a great sweater, you know? So this is knit in 3 strands of mohair, so it means that it's like pretty warm, but it's also incredibly light. And I knit this in a really cool combination of yarn. So the beige is just like a drops kid silk, or potentially it was 2 strands of the drops brushed alpaca. That sounds actually what it was. The dark color might look brown. It's actually a combination. So it's 3 strands of handmade and fine yarn in their silk mohair, which come in these enormous 125 gram skeins. I've used it for a couple of sweaters. They are excellent. I think they are kind of like average priciness, but I can't remember just because, you know, 125 I believe costs $80 Canadian. So then divide by 5 is kind of like the per 25 gram amount. I don't know what that is. But I did 3 strands all together. 2 of them were this like copper, so like a true kind of like reddy brown. And then 1 strand was called Bulrush, and it was variegated, had hints of teal, had some black, it had some copper in it as well, but like a slightly different shade of copper than the other one, the solid color. And so holding it together means that like when you look at it from afar, it looks like a solid brown, which makes this look very like a neutral. But then when you look at it more closely, it has like the teal and the shades of turquoise. And I just think it's such a beautiful combination. And again, like with the design, like it's kind of unusual. It's just like a very graphic checker pattern that first of all, it was my first ever colorwork project. It was great for that because it's so easy to memorize, and it's a raglan, so it's very intuitive. Like I will say that I had a difficult time reading the chart because I had never read a chart before. I didn't know what I was I didn't know what I was doing, but having such a simple pattern made it easy for me to do. Again, like it's quite a boxy fit. There's not quite as much ease as the Brume sweater. I think probably this feels to be maybe 10 centimeters of positive ease, maybe 12. But again, like I knit this on the longer side, so it comes down, you know, a bit past my hips. When I started knitting, I was knitting my sweaters a lot longer, and now I knit them shorter. And as I'm kind of like trying on these sweaters, which is I think the whole point of doing this, I'm realizing that I do actually really like this longer length. And again, like this, I did do my decreases in the color work on this are pretty, well, okay, they're not so bad, but they're definitely not great. There's some decreases, but not a huge amount. So I think I decreased 2 checkers on each side twice. So 4 checkers would have been 16 stitches. So you can see I still have a very straight arm, and I really like this one. Because it's the 3 strands of mohair, it is quite warm, but I love how light it is. And so I think potentially like doing more mohair only, like maybe 2 strands might be an option. Yeah, overall, this is great. This one has a folded over collar, and just this past winter, I did put some elastic in there because it was opening up, and the mohair doesn't have a whole lot of strength or like memory to it. And so I added the elastic, and now it fits much better. So that's great. Again, this one, we're off to an awesome start. Is gonna go in the love pile. Oh, I've got another cat is now on the Lempi sweater. So now that I'm adding the Pladda sweater, oh my gosh, you can't see her. She's just out of frame. Rosie has gone underneath the blanket. Oh my god, she's so cute. I wish I could show you. Anyway, maybe she'll come down and sit on this one. Okay, this is another Rebecca Clow pattern. I have lots of Rebecca Clow sweaters. After I made the Pladda, I had really enjoyed testing for her, and I got comfortable making patterns from the same designer, you know, like I got familiar with her writing style and everything, so I made a bunch of her patterns. This is the NYX sweater. I made this past fall, so like November, December 2024. I don't like this at all. Okay, but that's not true. I like the combination of colors. So this is a great cream. It's like a nice warm but not too yellow. I like that cream a lot. I love the magenta. I love the pickle green. I love the teal. I think that this combination of colors is so fun. I friggin' hate how this hangs on me. So this is a traditional like circular yoke construction for the arm, for the color work, and I definitely understand the appeal of that because it creates like a nice even pattern all the way around. It just hangs on my body in a way that I dislike very strongly, which is so sad because like I love the combination of these colors. The yarn is awesome. The cream is 2 strands of Brook Farm fingering in their natural colorway held double, and I have used Brook Farm fingering a couple of times. I love that yarn. It's like very reasonably priced. It's like nice. It feels woolly and rustic without being scratchy. And then the colors are from Baramu Pip, so it's like their fingering color work. They designed that line of yarn with color work in mind. So again, like it blends really well with the Brook Farm fingering because like it's a little bit toothy. It holds the color work really well. It is great. I modified this pattern. It's supposed to be done in just 2 colors. I did mine obviously in 4. So, but what I actually ended up doing by accident was I had switched the main color and contrast color, which means that as I was working down towards the bottom of what is supposed to be this chevron style that's in the white down here, I realized that I had made that mistake. To fix it, I would have had to rip back, and I was like, not gonna happen. So I just altered the color work pattern for like the last few rows, like potentially like here is when I started. Like, I just altered the color work pattern so that I didn't end up with just a line of magenta all the way across. But cats are on the move. It's just such a shame. I don't like this one. I'm a fan. This is not quite as long as some of the other ones. It hits probably just under my hips. So like, you know, I'm happy with the length of this one. I like how long and cozy the arms are. But yeah, I just don't like it very much. And I do occasionally try to wear it because I almost feel a little guilty about not. But I think I just finished it, so I might hold on to it for another winter and see if there's ways that I could style it that I would like. So potentially like underneath a jacket, because then like this is not so apparent, right? If I'm wearing a jacket, it just kind of like would negate that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Does anyone have any ideas? Like, is there a way to fix that? I realized potentially I could have made a smaller size, and that in a smaller size in a circular yoke that may not have this effect on it, but it's too late. So if anyone has any ideas about how I could potentially make this more wearable for myself, I would love to hear it. But I'm gonna put this in the I don't like pile. So we have our first flop, sort of, which is too bad because it's so fun. But I think potentially, like, I do love the colors. And so I could potentially try making a different pattern in the same colors, you know? So that is an option. Ooh, what do I want to do next? I'll do this one next because this is my only other circular yoke construction sweater. This is also by Rebecca Clow. This is the Kintra. I test knit this for her in like a December, January-ish. And this one is designed differently. So it has the circular yoke, like wedge increase construction, but then here underneath the arms, you have Raglan increases. And so you can just see even the difference. I knit the same size in these two sweaters. It's the same gauge, in those two sweaters. This one fits so well. That one fits terribly, in my opinion. So like this one, you can really see kind of like the raglan increases just really help shape the upper body of the sweater and the arms so that you get a really clean finish over the shoulders. And I love this one. I love the yarn. So the main color is Sondra Yarn Co. Sunday Morning DK. And I think the color is Wanderlust. It's just like a dark forest green, which is a color that I really love. This is the non-superwash BFL Advent from Elliot and May from last year. I bought that Advent specifically because I wanted to make this sweater. And it ended up being like a tad more pastel than I like or was expecting. But I also think that's kind of fun because I would never knit a full sweater in any of these colors. It's almost actually similar, not similar colors, but similar idea to the Lempi sweater, which had tons and tons of colors. This is kind of like that. I would not wear these colors individually, but I think in this color work yoke, it adds some interest. It's like a new color in my wardrobe, so it's like a little bit exciting, but then it's not a full sweater of those colors that I would never wear. My one, not like complaint, originally when I made these, I really liked the tapered sleeve. I think I'm almost finding, and now as I look at myself in the viewfinder, I prefer a wider sleeve, which I did not know. So potentially, if I were to make this sweater again, and like this sweater fits so well that I would consider just making stockinette sweaters and having them as like plain stockinette sweaters next time I need one. I do have a drop shoulder pattern that I just made where that I think would be my new go-to drop shoulder stockinette pattern. This might be like my go-to in the round pattern. But yeah, next time I would potentially just do like a straight sleeve all the way down. But yeah, I'm happy with the length of the arms. I do really like this length here. It's just like, it's not in the way, but it's not too short. And this is one actually, like, because you can probably see, I made this one more recently. It's a lot more cropped. So it's like sitting at my hip bones. And I think that I actually do prefer slightly longer. So good to know. But yeah, this one I love. I do wear this all the time. If I feel very, I think like sporty is the right term for that. Like I feel very sporty in this one. And I think part of that is to do with the tapered arm. But it just feels like elevated sporty. Like, and it's hard to describe. What next? Okay, we'll do this one. This is the first cardigan that we're talking about, and it's one of 3 cardigans that I have. This is the Nola cardigan by Yamagar Knits. I knit this last year, about a year ago, I think. I knit it in We Country Yarns or We County Yarns. Oh God, I can't remember what it's called. Kinross 4-ply held double. And it's kind of a fun pattern. So the pattern itself has 2 sleeve options. It has kind of like a wide bell sleeve or a tapered sleeve. So I went for the wide bell sleeve. And on the wide bell sleeve, it has these, like you do the ribbing in the round and you knit back and forth rather than together. And I really like this one. I wore this a ton when I first made it. I don't wear it as much anymore. And I don't really know why. I do really like it. I think potentially I do find it a little short. And this was before I had understood how sewn bind-offs worked. I did not do sewn bind-offs for a very, very, very long time. I would just bind off in pattern. And I did that here. And so it does not have any stretch. And so its natural inclination is to pull back like this. And even you can see like this side looks so much longer. And I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, I'm maybe not wearing the most ideal. Okay, that's better. But yeah, it just kind of pulls back. I never bothered putting in buttonholes or buttons on this one. The button band is knit simultaneously, which was really nice. It's just like a ribbed as you go button band, but I decided that I just wanted it to be open. And I think potentially that might be why I don't wear it as often, is because without the buttons, it feels a little unfinished. So one option could be I could just go and put buttons on and then continue to wear it open, and no one would know that there were no buttonholes. It also has these really nice, I'm trying to just show you in a way that will actually, there we go. These big flowers down the side. And I knit that, it was like an Isager fingering tweed situation that I had. I don't have the yarn anymore. I realized that I don't like wearing gray. So I got rid of like the rest of my sweater quantity of that, but it works pretty well in this. The gray has little flecks of orange, so it blends really well with the main color. Yeah, I don't really know. I feel like this is one that I like, but it's only okay. It's not gonna go in the love pile. And I don't really know exactly what it is about it that I don't like very much. I'm not really sure what it is. But like in this outfit with the navy blue and the cream pants, I think it's actually pretty cute. So potentially it's the length or the unstretchiness of the bind off that's throwing me off. Or maybe it's the flowers. For me, like I love the flowers. I think they're beautiful. They do kind of give a little bit of a crafty vibe, and I don't know that that is really consistent with my style. So potentially it would have been better for me to make it without the flowers. I think that might be it. Anyway, it's gonna go in the it's okay pile. Ooh, okay. It was the second or third sweater that I made, and it was actually just a self-drafted pattern, which is a little bit crazy because I have no idea how I ended up with such a good fit. It also means that I never took notes back then. I can never recreate this, but it's a raglan, and I feel like the fit in the chest and shoulders is really good. So I don't know how that happened. Again, I went with a wider sleeve. This one has 2x2 rib. I don't really use 2x2 rib anymore. If I hadn't knit the collar at the start and then like knit it together to create a folded collar and then started the sweater, I would actually probably rip out the ribbing and re-knit all the ribbings to be 1x1. But because it would really bother me if the neckline and the rest of the ribbing didn't match, I'm not gonna do that. And again, like this is one where my bind off, I tried doing a sewn bind off on this one, but in the 2x2, it was not successful. I didn't watch a tutorial, I just was kind of winging it. Didn't work out, so my bad. And I did that on the sleeves and the body. The sleeves are big enough where it doesn't really matter. The body, it does like suck in a little, not suck in, but you know, here I am, and it's just like a very straight line with not a whole lot of give. And I also think that potentially this, I don't wear this all that often, and I think it's possible that part of that is because it doesn't have as much positive ease in the sweater as I like. This is not quite neutral, but there's only probably 5 centimeters of positive ease in this one, and that's less than I tend to like. And yeah, I knit this one in Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock Worsted, and it's held up really well. Like I've deep-pilled this quite a few times. Obviously it got a lot more wear when I had fewer sweaters, but now that I have sweaters that I like more, I don't reach for this one very often. But like the yarn has held up extremely well. And then yeah, the color is nice also. I think it's pretty cute. But yeah, there's just like a few things about this one that I can't fix, but also because it fits so well as a raglan, I'm gonna hold on to it. So it's gonna go in the it's okay pile. Just because I think I could probably like recreate this if I wanted to by counting my stitches and rows and everything. I didn't do like a compound raglan on this. It was just adding a stitch on each side of the raglan every second row. So I think I could probably pretty easily figure out what I was doing and recreate that. What do I want to do? Ooh, let's do this one. This one is a fairly recent finish. This is the Curator sweater by Lily Purcell. I think her handle is Curatorial Knits. She also has a YouTube. And this was her first sweater design. So I test knit this for her. I like it a lot. Not my issue. The thing that I don't like about it is actually because of the yarn, not the pattern. So I'll talk about the pattern first and then the yarn and why I don't like that. But it has this really nice cable that runs down, and I modified the pattern to run the cable all the way down. And then again, like I did no sleeve decreases, so this is super straight. I knit these a titch long. And I think maybe not right now, but potentially in September, when things are feeling a little bit more getting ready for fall, I might just do a tad bit of sweater surgery and take out like 8 rows on the sleeve or something, just to bring it up a little. And same on the body. So I knit, I don't remember, I think the size 6, and I just knit it, actually maybe not. Oh, you know what it is? I can't actually change what I don't like about this one, because I did waist decreases and then increases for the hip, and I realized through this that I don't actually like that. So in order to fix that, I would have to go back to under the underarm, like rip out the whole thing and reknit the body. Probably won't do that. And I don't think it's worth it to do that because of the yarn. So this is a fingering non-superwash merino and a Surrey alpaca held together. And the Surrey is a combination of Surrey alpaca, cashmere, and silk. And I just find like it's not holding up very well. And because it's Surrey, I find it extremely difficult to depill. Because sometimes, like here on the sleeve, it's creating actual little bobbles, and I can depill that. But everywhere else, it just kind of feels a bit shaggy. And there's nothing I can do about that. So overall, like I would absolutely knit this pattern again. I think I would maybe go down one size, because what I would like is for this to just sit a hair more up on my arm. So I would go down probably one size, but then maybe do a few extra cast on stitches or something on the bottom under the arms, just to get the same amount of positive ease. But yeah, so this is one that's like, I love the fit and I actually love the color. Although when I see it in the viewfinder, I don't know that this color suits me as much as I thought it did comparative to some of the other ones. Like the teal, I think I look great in teal and green. This one, maybe not quite as much, which is interesting for me to know. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of like wear what you want to wear, but I also try to pick colors that like cohesively go together. And so the fact that this one maybe doesn't fit into my wardrobe quite as well is good for me to know. Yeah, I'll just hold this up for a second so you can probably see. It's looking a bit shaggy, and it's not even things that I can depill because they're not little bobbles. So it's gonna go in the it's okay pile. Okay, this, I hate this cardigan. So this is the Leith cardigan by Rebecca Clow. And it was the second cardigan that I made. I tried to kind of like emulate the one that she had done with all the different colors. And so I picked colors that I really liked and I thought kind of like went together, and like objectively, they do go together. And as I see myself in the video, like I look fun. I look fun and kooky and like I teach art. But I accidentally cropped this cardigan by about 10 centimeters, and that was literally just my own mistake. I could not read my own measuring tape for some reason, and so I cropped it by 10 centimeters, and it's knit bottom up, so there's nothing I can do about it. And I've also given the yarn away, so it's too short for me. I don't like how short that is. It's not my style. Like, I don't wear stuff like this. I want to be the person that wears kooky art teacher cardigans. I am not. And I also think that the fit on this is not my favorite. When I wear it, it's not doing it right now because obviously I've just put it on. But when I'm walking around, it slowly pulls itself back and it falls off my shoulders. And when I tell you the absolute sensory nightmare that is, like, you're walking, maybe you're getting like not a sweat, but you're almost a sweat. Like, you're walking briskly and it's itching its way back and it's falling off your shoulders and you keep pulling it back and it keeps doing it. I cannot stand that. So I don't wear this ever. This one is a flop for me, even though it looks really cute and fun. So I don't know if I have any friends who would want this. I also think, like, I picked probably too small of a size, and it doesn't have as much positive ease in the body as I would ideally want in a cardigan. Yeah, see, even now, I put my arms up, I put my arms down, and it's falling off the shoulder. Cannot stand it. So anyway, if I had a smaller friend, potentially with a shorter torso, I think that this might be good. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be getting rid of this one. I have had it for a while. It's too bad because the yarn is Sonder Yarn Co. Sunday Morning DK, so very nice, pretty pricey, great quality, and like, it knits up amazingly and it depills amazingly, and I think it still looks awesome. And I actually, like, in this outfit, I feel like I look really fun and cute. But I am never gonna wear this cardigan ever again because I cannot stand how it fits. So R.I.P. my Leith cardigan. Oh, it's so cute. Anyway, that one's so sad. What a bummer. Ooh, okay. This is my twist loop sweater by Other Loops. This was the second sweater that I had ever made. And so naturally, after making a super chunky gauge bottom up stockinette sweater, I was like, great, I think I'm ready for an all over ribbed with, it's not a complicated cable, but it's kind of a complicated cable. Also, did not gauge swatch, if you could not tell. I, again, had not yet learned what a gauge swatch was. I don't even know what the gauge of this is supposed to be. It's enormous. Like, it is so big. It fits really poorly. I actually don't really care about that for this sweater. I knit this in 2 strands. So I did a drops kid silk in like a cream color or like an oatmeal color. And then I used Sandnes Garden Duo, which is a 50-50 cotton merino blend. And because it's so big, it's quite heavy. But because it's a cotton merino blend, it's still, like, I like how it wears, you know? Like, I look at this and I'm like, it does not look that good on me. I don't think. Like, I don't think it fits well. I don't think the color is really my vibe. I love the cable pattern. I think it's beautiful. I would definitely consider remaking this in a different yarn combination, or even like actually to gauge or whatever. But I'm never gonna get rid of this because, yeah, naturally after making that Lempi sweater, I was like, great, cables please. And then I cried multiple times when I made this. It did test me. It took me like 6 months. It was definitely in the era where like I didn't knit that much. I was just like, I would pick it up and put it down. And then when I finished it, I was like really proud of myself, and I put it on. I was like, whoa, she big. So that's kind of my, but this was like, this felt at the time like such an accomplishment, you know? And now it's like, if I made something like this, I would probably be disappointed because it honestly doesn't fit that well, but I still love it. It holds a very sentimental place in my heart, and I do wear it because like it's just peak cozy around the house, you know, stormy outside, watching a movie, snuggling the cats. Yeah, you can see her. Anyway, so this goes, it's like, it'll go, I think, in the it's okay pile because like I don't love it, but I wear it, and I feel like this is a important part of my knitting journey, you know? But she's heavy. She's a heavy sweater. Okay. Oh, we'll do this one. So this is a long sleeve Tolsta tee by Rebecca Clow from the Crea Bear, and I knit this in Sunday Fiber Co. Fingering Mist, which I believe is like an alpaca silk blend potentially, and then there's Surrey alpaca. I knit this extremely cropped. I wear this, well, okay, I knit it extremely cropped because I wear it over dresses. It's kind of like my go-to dress cover-up. I actually think, because it's got Surrey alpaca, it's not an ideal dress cover-up because I get too warm. But like overall, like I like the length of the sleeves. I like the slight taper of them. I like how this pattern, after I made this one, I made myself a couple of t-shirt versions, and I cast on fewer stitches because this neckline has zero integrity. And then, so now when I make this pattern for a t-shirt, I just modify it and cast on fewer stitches and then increase those stitches into the first round. But yeah, I don't wear this a huge amount. I don't love the color. And then again, because it's like, I tried making a cover up for dresses, but I pretty much only wear dresses in the summer, I think I need to create something that's cotton or like a linen, or even like a combination, like a cotton wool blend or something, just to actually be functional. And again, like I don't have the yarn for this anymore. I destashed the remaining yarn, and so I can't even really go back and add more length and then use it as a regular sweater because I don't have the yarn anymore, and it's too short for me to wear just as a regular sweater. So I actually think I'm gonna put this in the I don't like pile, which is surprising. I didn't realize that I felt that way about it. Sorry, friend. We'll do this one. This is my third cardigan that I have. So I only have 3 cardigans in my wardrobe. Well, technically 2 now. I'm gonna get rid of the Leith cardigan. This is the Calm Down cardigan by Lily Kate France. I knit this back in the fall. I knit this in gray. I don't wear gray. I don't like gray. Gray does not go in my wardrobe. And it's enormous. I also don't love this one. Like, I wear it because it's big and it's oversized. I really like the buttons. I think that's really nice. But, oh, and I really like how this is done. If you're unfamiliar with the pattern, it has like decreases here along the button band. It's not along the button band, but like as you get to the bottom, when you do the ribbing, you're doing some decreases, which I think is really great. But I don't think this pattern fits particularly well. I did end up with the dimensions in the pattern, and just like, look at these sleeves. This is, I could fit 2 or 3 of my arms in here, and I don't know. And then like paired, like maybe if it was longer, the insanely big arms wouldn't matter. But because it's now even, like it's that kind of like cropped length that I started knitting things at, that I maybe won't be knitting things at anymore. But because it's at that cropped length, it feels disproportionate. Like the arms are so enormous compared to the rest of the sweater. Yeah, I will say I do love the buttons that I picked. I picked these like cute little star flower buttons. They're kind of gold, and I think that kind of, originally I was gonna go for a dark wood or potentially like a leather button, but then paired with the gray, it made it feel like very professor. And I was like, no. So the gold makes it feel a little bit more stylish. But again, like, I don't like the color. I don't like the fit. So, but I do wear it. And so I'm gonna put it in the it's okay pile. Man, all my cardigans are flops. Does anyone have any like tried and true cardigan patterns that they've made? I like drop shoulder. I like Raglan. I'm currently making the Paul cardigan by Morka Knit, and I've heard really good things about that one. But if anyone has any other cardigan patterns that they really like, please let me know, because it's a massive gap in my wardrobe. Cardigans are so versatile, and yet I don't have any that I love. They're all meh. Okay, moving on. This is the Aiode sweater by Sari Nordland. I finished this spring, but I started it last August. It took me a long time. OGs on this channel saw me talk about this on my podcast episodes like so many times. And as you can see, there is an issue with it. I knew that when I finished it. I have not gone back to see if I can fix it yet. So the issue is, first of all, can we just appreciate this pattern? This is stunning. It is such a beautiful cable pattern. I do have more of this yarn. And so actually, knowing what I know now, that I'm really more gravitating towards longer sweaters, I might actually rip this ribbing out and knit another cable repeat, or like a chart repeat, and then redo the knitting, or sorry, redo the cabling, because I think that I would like that better. Although that reminded me that I originally knit this again to go over top of dresses, which is why I knit it shorter. Okay, if I can fix the actual problem, I will try it over a dress and I'll see how that looks. If I don't really like that, then I will go back and I will add more length to the body. The problem is this neck hole is very small. And I don't know, like, what I'm thinking of doing, because the ribbing is done off, it's a drop shoulder, so it's done after the fact. I'm gonna rip out the neckline. I'm gonna block it again. I've blocked this sweater so many times. I'm gonna block it again. I'm gonna really try to like get a bit more open. I'm gonna try to get more give in this neckline. And then I'm gonna do the ribbing again, much more loose than I have it right now, you know, because I did this on a much smaller needle than I knit the body, because it looks so neat, but it is sitting, it sits vertically up my neck, and because it's tight, when I've only tried to wear it twice, and it feels like it chokes me, and I do not like that. It's one of the reasons why I don't really like turtlenecks, is like having pressure on the front of my neck is an absolute no-no. I don't like that. So step one would be to take out the neckline, try to get more openness in the neck hole, redo the ribbing more loosely, and then really loose, stretchy bind off. And if that is successful, and at the same time, I'm gonna try to get a little bit more width in these sleeves, because these ended up more narrow than I thought they would. And then if that's so successful and it's not looking good over the dress, I will add more length, because this is like an heirloom quality piece. This pattern is stunning. It's from her book, Softly Timeless Knits. And to think of it sitting in my wardrobe and not being worn is so sad. Because first of all, it took me forever. And it's just like, I love this color. Like, this color is an absolute, power color? I don't know. I just really love rusty browns. And it's just like the all over cable. Oh, that's the tie of my shirt, in case you've seen it before and you're like, what is that? Tie of my shirt. Anyway, I think it also has a really good amount of positive ease in the body. And it has potential. Even though right now it's not ideal, I'm still gonna put it in the I love pile because there's so much I do love about it, even though I can't wear it right now. And I think that I can fix the things that aren't working, and then it'll be like a sweater that I will have forever. I'm actually maybe gonna prioritize fixing this one because I would like to wear it in Iceland when we go in September. So I'm gonna put it in my I love pile for now, but then I'm gonna probably keep it out. Okay, we have 3 more. This is the Tydes sweater by Rebecca Clove from the Curator. Her version is all over striped, and I believe the stitch is called Feather and Fan, possibly, and it creates these, it's obviously not going to show up that well because it's only on my sleeve, but it creates these wavy stripes. I did not want to do wavy stripes. I did solid, so I did kind of like a magenta color held together with a blue mohair, and then I added 3 stripes on each sleeve, and then I added blue on the hem and on the collar as kind of like a contrast. I don't actually wear this that often. I don't know that this combination of yarn was the correct choice because it's created with increases and decreases every 4 rows. And then, yeah, anyway, it kind of creates a bit of a stiffer fabric because I didn't use a mohair. And because of that, like, it just feels like it doesn't drape that nicely on my body. And there's some fit issues with this sweater. So you can see wearing it here at the back, it just sticks out. I heard that this was also, it happened with a couple of other testers. I don't really know what it is. Like, it just doesn't hang that nicely here. And then again on the front, it just like, you know, like it just, you know what it is? I don't feel that good when I wear it. You know, like I love the color. I like, you know, when I back up, I'm like, yeah, like this is cute. It feels sporty and stylish. But then when I think about like how I feel when I wear it, I don't feel that good, which is such a shame. And I think it mostly has to do with like these weird fit issues. Like, what is this? I look in this sweater like I'm 6 months pregnant, right? Like that is not that there's anything wrong with being 6 months pregnant, but I am not 6 months pregnant and I don't want to look like I'm 6 months pregnant, right? Like this for me is like is not a sweater that makes me feel happy when I wear it. And so I don't really reach for it. But like that actually, like potentially maybe I could, now that I'm more comfortable sewing, I could maybe remove some of the ease from under the arms. That might be an idea. Like do a, like, you know, turn it inside out, sew in, and then because it's a full, like it's a wool with no, it's a non-superwash, I could probably like felt it on the inside to create a really durable seam, you know, like, and then it would not fit like that. What do you think? Oh, is maybe that an idea? It would definitely, I think, make it more wearable and more comfortable, and I would probably feel better when I wear it. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna put it in the it's okay pile because there is a lot about it that I like. I don't know, you know, I don't know if I could bring myself to cut into it, like, because then there's the risk that it doesn't work and then I still don't wear it, and then because I've cut into it, I've kind of ruined it. So, okay. Second last sweater. Oh, this is my newest sweater finished object. It is the Cove sweater by the Knit Pro Girl. I knit this in the Wandering Flock, Baby Paca, and Mohair in the color Citrine. and I love this color. Love it so much. I feel so good in this color. It makes me really happy. I had altered the gauge of this one, so it's smaller stitches than the pattern calls for. And I made some modifications, like I did twisted rib on the ribbing, half twisted rib, which I really like. I think it has like quite a nice look to it. I've never tried it before, so something new. And again, I did a narrow tapered sleeve on this, and I do really like this one. This is one because it kind of like creates a little bit of a puff. It kind of feels cute and stylish. And then because of the twisted rib, it's quite a long rib. This is probably like 12 centimeters of ribbing here. And so I think it kind of creates an interesting look. And again, like it's such a weird color. Like I don't have any chartreuse except for this. But I really like this one. And it's kind of, yeah, like it could be a little bit longer, but again, like I think that's just something I might implement going forward. But I really like the length of this as well. So potentially in the future when I'm knitting, I'm gonna gauge it like somewhere between this and the Brume sweater, you know, like that might be my happy place. But yeah, love this one. I don't have like a whole lot to report on it because I didn't finish it all that long ago. The one thing is that the mohair sheds an insane amount. I was hoping it would stop when I blocked it, but it didn't. So when I wear this, I take it off and there's chartreuse fluffs all over me. That one's going in the love pile. I love that one. That one is, like, I really like the fit of that sweater. And if I'm wanting to make another stockinette drop shoulder sweater, I would use that pattern to do that. Finally, is my last one. This is the Vivi pullover by Sari Nordland. I test knit this for her last fall, and I finished it, I think I finished this like January 2nd. I used Sunday Yarn Co. Sunday Morning Luxe, I think, which is a sport weight blend of BFL, Mashem, and Cashmere. And then the mohair in this is Handmade in Fine Yarn mohair, so the ones that come in the big skeins, and in the color Eggplant. So first of all, love this color. I love the positive ease. I love the cable pattern. I like the neckline. Originally I had thought about adding an elastic, but I actually like how it's a little bit more open rather than being so tight to my neck. It almost feels a tad like a boat neck. A couple of things that I don't love about this is similarly to the Tydes sweater. You can kind of see that it does not, like the front is much shorter than the back. The back comes to like halfway through, like halfway at my butt. The front is here, like, you know, whoa. Oh my goodness. Sorry, if you heard that, there was a big bang and like the entire building rattled. We have a parkade. Oh God. No one is hurt, just so we're clear. Somebody drove into the parkade with kayaks on the roof of their car, and the parkade did not have the clearance. And I think that this person potentially just wrecked their kayaks. But nobody is hurt. Okay, you can see like it's so much shorter in the front than it is in the back. What I wish I had done, and I made this change on the Aiode sweater because I had made this one first, and I realized in the Aiode sweater that I was gonna have the same problem. So what I wish I had done is either to shorten the back yoke or lengthen the front yoke before joining under the arm. again, like, this is like a beautiful casual cable sweater. It doesn't matter that much, but it would have been like a nice to have, you know? Like, I still wear this a ton. I tuck it in, you know, that classic millennial tuck with like the little like duck butt situation, but like, I think this is still really cute and stylish. It just kind of bothers me a little bit that the front is so much shorter, because I think on this sweater that impacts the fit over the front, versus had it had more length, it would have, you know, sat where it's supposed, like where you would think it would. And like, this is much better. Obviously, don't look at the back at the moment because I'm now creating a back fit issue, but like on the front, this is much more what I like, or what I would want. And so I could absolutely see myself knitting this pattern again. Like, I think that this pattern is just like such a classic cable, and I would love to make it in like a cream. Like, I think this in a cream would just be like the most luxurious cable pattern ever. And when I do that, I will make that change. But again, I did the wide sleeve. I love the wide sleeve. This is like a titch long on the sleeves, but doesn't impact my wear. And I love the color of this one. I think it's so nice. So again, we have another one for the I love pile. Yeah, so that is all of my sweaters and cardigans. Takeaways that I have learned: 1, knit my sweaters a little bit longer. I like it going, you know, kind of to the end, like to where my, like, I like here, not here. Good to know. I tend to like wider sleeves. If I'm looking at the colors that are in my I love pile, you know, they're all like, these are colors that I know that I love. Also the Lempi sweater is over there, but Gus is taking a nap on that, and I am not a monster, so he's gonna continue to take a nap. But you know, like, we've got the teal, we've got like eggplant, we've got rust brown with teal, forest green, and then this little outlier of chartreuse. So I feel like chartreuse could be a color that I accent in my wardrobe, but isn't like a core color because it's so in your face. But then the rest of these colors, in addition to like creams, like, here we go, like the cream of this sweater is my ideal cream. And so I think that like this all together is like a great, dropping things left, right, and center, a great color palette for me. So that is gonna be fun to play with in the future. I tend to prefer more ease than less ease. Also good to know. I like my sleeves to be about here, so not quite bracelet length and not too long, but like that perfect in between. And yeah, those are my takeaways. I hope that this was fun. I had a good time. I feel like when you have so many garments, it can be really helpful to take them all out and figure out what you like about each one, because I now have a list of things that I will not do again. That kind of wraps it up for today. I had a really good time going through all of my sweaters, and I learned a lot about my preferences and about my dislikes. And so I think that is going to be so helpful going forward. And I also think that I have a few items that I can kind of let go of, and they can venture out into the world, and they can be somebody else's beautiful knitwear potentially. I don't yet know how I'm going to do that, but I think I'm going to do that because I really like, a little bit of a side tangent, but like I am trying to like hone in on my wardrobe about what it is that I like to wear and what it is that I want to wear and like what feels good. And it's nice to kind of be able to be like, okay, these ones are not serving me, they can go serve somebody else. So I think that is very exciting. Also, I just completely forgot that I have to talk about this, but the Sweater for Summer knit along is done now. So it was running till the end of June. We are now into July. It is finished. Natalie is going to be posting a video with a Ravelry winner. I am going to put the Instagram winner here, right here. So if your name is right here, you can message me on Instagram and I will give you a $50 Canadian gift card to Knitting for Olive. So yay, and thank you so much for everyone who participated. It was so fun. I loved watching everybody's patterns knit up, and I thought that was like such a fun like community building activity. Thanks so much for everyone who participated, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.